Here's a quote for you: "A shameless violation that should make your blood run cold." That's how President Biden described Russia's war on Ukraine in his remarks to the United Nations General Assembly. He also urged the world to stay united in defense of Ukraine.
The president didn't stop at calling out Russia. He also addressed tensions with China and sent a message of encouragement to Iranians protesting their government. George Thomas has more.
President Biden used his position on the world stage to remind members of the UN's General Assembly that Russia's invasion of Ukraine 211 days ago was a clear violation of the global order.
This war is about extinguishing Ukraine's right to exist as a state, plain and simple, and Ukraine's right to exist as a people. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whatever you believe, that should make your blood run cold.
Russia's president escalating the crisis, calling up 300,000 reservists to fight after Ukraine makes dramatic gains on the battlefield. Putin saying he won't hesitate to even use nuclear weapons to stop Ukraine's counteroffensive.
I want to remind you that our country has various means of destruction to protect Russia and our people. We will certainly use all means at our disposal. This is not a bluff.
Ukraine's president, addressing the UN meeting via video, urged the world body to punish Moscow for its invasion and called for a special tribunal to try Russia for war crimes.
And Ukraine demands punishment for trying to steal our territory, punishment for the murders of thousands of people, punishment for tortures and humiliations of women and men.
While Russia loomed large during Biden's address, the president also used the UN platform to address America's biggest rival.
Let me be direct about the competition between the United States and China. As we manage shifting geopolitical trends, the United States will conduct itself as a reasonable leader. We do not seek conflict. We do not seek a Cold War.
Biden condemning the ongoing human rights violations in China and around the world, including in Iran, where clashes between police and protesters have erupted nationwide following the death of a young woman, Mahsa Amini, who died for violating Iran's strict Islamic dress code.
Today, we stand with the brave citizens and the brave women of Iran, who right now are demonstrating to secure their basic rights.
Meanwhile, Iran's president also spoke at the UN, calling Israel a savage power. And he held up a picture of Qasem Soleimani, a top Iranian general who was killed by a U.S. drone strike back in 2010, promising to avenge his death. Gordon?
Well, George, let's talk about the protests in Iran. They have to do with Mahsa Amini. If we can get a picture of her, I want to show everyone what she looked like. Here she is, a 22-year-old girl, prime of life. She's coming in from Kurdistan, Kurdish part of Iran, visiting her relatives, traveling with her brother. She gets off, I believe, a bus station or train station, and is then arrested by the moral police for how she's wearing her hijab. She's got it on. She's trying to wear it. She's just, according to them, not wearing it properly. And within 2 hours, they have beaten her so severely. Here's the scan that was leaked. Hackers got into the hospital scans. They found a scan of her brain. And there you see the extensive damage caused, that she was beaten so severely and so many times that it caused her death. And then here's the unbelievable lie coming from the government that she had some kind of sudden heart attack in the police station. and they don't know why she collapsed. It had to do with some kind of medical condition. Well, the medical condition was they beat her to death. So now we're seeing protests inside of Iran. Yeah. So how are these demonstrations now different from previous ones?
Yeah, I mean, it really just touches to the core of the entire nation, Gordon. I mean, just imagine you, as you mentioned, you come to another city, you come to visit your family and your loved ones, and just because you're not completely veiled, that your hair is not completely covered. I remember several years ago being on the streets of downtown Tehran, interviewing this very young lady, very beautiful young lady, and because her scarf was over the middle of her head and she was showing so much of her front, a man just came from right behind, during our interview, came from right behind us and just yanked the scarf right over her head and in Farsi said, "You should cover your entire head." And this young lady, 21, 22 years old, shouted back at this man and says, "Don't you dare touch my hair. I can do what I want to do." And years later, this continued agony, this continued frustration in the midst of all the economic challenges that Iran is facing, this young lady, 22 years old, Amina, loses her life over a scarf and the fact that her hair was not completely covered. And today you're seeing the results and you see the images. It's quite dramatic. I mean, I've never seen this kind of images of Iranian men and women going to police cars, burning down a police station today, attacking police officers, those on motorbikes, hitting them. You can just sense the frustration and the anger that is palpable on the streets of Iran today over a very simple thing that seems so innocuous, but yet it is at the core of their culture. And today Iranians are fighting back. Remember, it's the granddaughters of the grandsons who are fighting against their grandparents, the mullahs, those who ushered in the 1979 Islamic Revolution. And they're saying, my goodness, please, why are people dying? Why are people being arrested over such a simple thing that seems so archaic?
We've seen protests before. The Green Revolution was the most significant one. In that, the government unleashed their own military. They had snipers on the rooftops, and they started shooting people. Then they imposed an internet blackout throughout the country in order to stop organization. I'm hearing now that there's a power outage, that the government has shut off electricity. What's your prediction on this one? Do you think we'll see a change in the government, that finally the prayers of people around the world being answered, that this theocracy would be overthrown? Are we going to see that, or are we going to see more crackdown?
I got a message overnight from a source in Tehran, and this person said to me, "George, we are all alone, and we don't have weapons, we don't have guns, we have no way of fighting back. All we have is our heart and our hands." And the reality is that as you see these images of these brave young men and women attacking police officers, burning down government buildings, going after police officers, the crackdown is going to happen because it's inevitable. They've shut down the internet. WhatsApp is down. Instagram, which is very, very popular and has been allowed to thrive for quite some time, is off. They have no access to that. Twitter is also down. And so when you see these kinds of images, the response from the authoritarian regime, the leaders of the government, is to crack down and to crack down severely.
All right, well, let's turn to Russia. President Putin said that he's going to, I guess, conscript 300,000 more troops to fight in Ukraine. And then the reaction, every single plane has been booked fully. People are heading to the exits in droves, and they're also starting to protest. Are we going to see an eruption in Russia as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the video that was released by Flight Radar 24, look at that. Out of Moscow and St. Petersburg, within hours of Putin's decision to call up 300,000, look at all those planes getting out of the country. So many people leaving because they don't want to get conscripted, right? And so over the last 24 hours, about 38 cities across Russia saw demonstrations. Close to about 2,000 people have been arrested because they're protesting against the Kremlin's decision to call up people. This is reality. And so just imagine the extremes. On one hand, in the Middle East, in the heart of Iran, women and men demonstrating for freedom. And here you have on the streets of Moscow, St. Petersburg, other places of Russia, people are demonstrating against their government's decision to go to a war that they never agreed to, never signed up for.
All right. Well, George, thanks for the insight. Thanks for the report. And for you at home, join with us in prayer for both of these nations. These are people who are struggling to be free. And you look at the protests, you look at what's happening, and a leadership that doesn't even acknowledge they make mistakes, that the whole Ukrainian war is one colossal mistake. The religious theocracy that is exporting terrorism around the world, but particularly targeted to Israel. These things have to change and they have to stop. Let us petition Almighty God to move on their behalf, to hear their cries, to reach out, to redeem them and change these nations. God can do it, and let's ask him to do it, and let's ask believing. Well, in other news, New York's Attorney General is accusing former President Trump and 3 of his children of business fraud. Ephraim Graham has that story and more from the CBN Newsroom. Ephraim?
Gordon, Attorney General Letitia James's lawsuit comes after a years-long investigation into the financial practices of the Trump Organization.
Complaint demonstrates that Donald Trump falsely inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself and to cheat the system, thereby cheating all of us. He did this with the help of the other defendants, his children.
The suit seeks to recover more than $250 million the AG claimed was taken through alleged deceptive practices. While not a criminal prosecution, James is referring possible federal violations to the Justice Department and the IRS. Now to an update on the fight over the documents seized from the former president's Florida home. A federal appeals court ruled the Department of Justice can analyze classified documents seized in the raid. A judge had put a hold on using those documents in the investigation. The court ruled Trump's legal team gave no evidence he declassified the material. To the economy, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates another 3/4 of a point Wednesday, the latest move in the Fed's effort to bring down record-high inflation. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell admitted continuing to raise interest rates increases the possibility of a recession, with the hope of a soft landing for the economy looking more unlikely.
We have got to get inflation behind us. I wish there were a painless way to do that. There isn't.
Powell also signaled more rate hikes are likely. Looking down to our southern border now, staggering new numbers on illegal crossings are putting President Biden on the defense. As CBN's Tara Mergener reports, both parties are fighting over who's to blame and how to hold back the wave of illegal immigration.
The United States has never seen illegal border crossings reach this level. Republicans and now more members of the media are asking President Biden to explain what's behind this historic surge.
In what country in the world are you allowed to enter illegally into a country violating its laws and within a week be in court suing the very government whose laws you've just violated?
Senator Marco Rubio firing back. It's some of the 50 migrants who sued Florida Governor Ron DeSantis after he sent them from Texas to Martha's Vineyard.
They were provided an ability to be in the most posh sanctuary jurisdiction maybe in the world.
Rubio and other GOP critics claiming migrants take advantage of American taxpayers and the country's legal system.
Anyone who comes here illegally to come and to stay, and we should assume that responsibility, but only if they stay in Florida, but only if they stay in Texas, not if they come to New York, not if they come to Massachusetts.
The Biden administration has already transported hundreds of thousands of migrants to U.S. cities from coast to coast, many under the cover of darkness. Now a Texas sheriff is investigating DeSantis for sending the small group to the Massachusetts resort area.
Migrants were lured, I will use the word lured, under false pretenses into staying at a hotel for a couple of days. They were promised work, they were promised the solution to several of their problems, and then they were unceremoniously stranded in Martha's Vineyard.
As the border grows more overwhelmed by the day, Biden has struggled to explain the skyrocketing number of illegal crossings into border cities like El Paso, this week claiming more people are fleeing communist regimes.
On the border, why is the border more overwhelmed under your watch, Mr. President?
There's fewer immigrants coming from Central America and from Mexico. This is a totally different circumstance. What's on my watch now is Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua.
Here in D.C., the mayor's emergency declaration remains in effect due to the thousands of migrants sent here by Republican governors. The D.C. Council just approved $10 million to open a government office aimed at supporting the migrants. In Washington, I'm Tara Mergener, CBN News.
We turn now to the Atlantic, where Hurricane Fiona is a massive Category 4 storm as it heads north. Bermuda is under hurricane warnings as the storm is expected to pass just west of the island in the next 24 hours. The people of Puerto Rico are picking up after Fiona's fury. Operation Blessing is now on the scene, providing disaster relief to the hard-hit island. The storm hit there as a Category 1. Since then, 1.5 million Puerto Ricans have been without power. Operation Blessing is helping to distribute water filter kits and easily chargeable solar lamps.
A mass grave holding hundreds of Ukrainian civilians was found in the forest near a town in eastern Ukraine. This collective grave is one of dozens discovered in areas once held by Russian troops. These grisly atrocities are no surprise to Ukrainians who know their history. Chuck Holton explains.
Hundreds of numbered graves populate this forested area outside Izium. The site was discovered after Russian troops posted photos on social media pages. As investigators perform the grisly task of exhuming bodies, they must be careful. Russian troops often booby-trap the graves.
If it beeps on the place where our brothers are lying, that tells us that the enemy may have left something like an explosive device, a grenade or something to try to kill more of us.
We're aware of reports to which more than 400 bodies were found in a collective grave in Izium. Our colleagues in Ukraine in the Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine are following up on these allegations.
It's a sight all too common in areas recently liberated from Russian forces, and it joins a long history of atrocities against Ukrainians. During the winter of 1932 and 33, Russian troops were sent into Ukraine to confiscate essentially all the food, something that has come to be known as the Holodomor. In that event, more than 4 million people died, mostly just from starvation and exposure. This monument here in a park in downtown Kyiv is to commemorate the many children who died. You see this painfully skinny girl clutching a stalk of wheat here. And it has to be mentioned that there are monuments like this to Russian atrocities all around Ukraine. And if you go to Russia, you're not going to find monuments like this because Ukrainians haven't attacked their neighbors to the east. It's always come this direction. Just north of the city stands another deserted forest once known as the end of the line for anyone who didn't support Stalin's regime. It's called Bykivnia. These lists of names written on the walls here in Bykivnia represent just some of the hundreds of thousands of people who were murdered by the Soviet Union and then dumped into mass graves right in this area. And the Russians are again making lists of people in a process called filtration. It's happening all across the occupied areas of Ukraine right now, and it's affecting millions of people. And if you take filtration to its obvious conclusion, what you end up with is another place like Bykivnia. Reports from occupied areas tell of a three-step filtration process whereby Russian troops try to identify anyone who does not agree with Vladimir Putin.
They sit down like this, facing away from you. They start flipping through your phone, smiling, and his partner says, "What is this?" Well, what are you doing in this photo? And I see you are a Baptist. But that is the easy part compared to what comes next.
Anyone suspected of disloyalty is sent to a filtration camp. There, beatings and torture are reportedly common. Those who survive are often forcibly relocated to remote parts of Russia.
So they try to replace native population for those who come back, who came from far east of Russia, for example. We see this tactic we see in Crimea after 2014. They tried to replace all ex-Ukrainians, for example, bureaucrats, for Russian bureaucrats. The tactic of Russian Empire and Soviet Union is to change the population, the picture of population.
So far, it's estimated nearly 1.5 million Ukrainians have been sent to Russia. According to survivors, many who refuse end up in unmarked graves.
The full extent of the atrocities committed against Ukrainians has yet to be revealed. But even 6 months after the beginning of this war, there are still people that are living their lives in bomb shelters like this one all across this country. And it's not the sound of explosions outside that scares them. What scares them is that they'll be forgotten by people like you.
We want the world to know what's really happening and what the Russian occupation has led to. Bucha, Mariupol, and now, unfortunately, Izium. Russia leaves death everywhere, and they must be held responsible for it. The world must hold Russia to real responsibility for this war.
From Ukraine, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
My hope is the UN will hold Russia accountable, but that's just a hope. Will it actually happen? They would have to lose their seat on the Security Council in order for it to go through, because right now they have a veto power. So anything the UN tries to do, they could veto it. That's the current push. That's why President Biden was at the UN yesterday. He's actually asking for that, that they lose that seat, that they be voted out because of what they've done in Ukraine. This is something that it goes back to the League of Nations. After World War I, that was supposedly the war to end all wars. And in following that, some principles of international law were laid down. One is you have to respect international borders. You can't be an aggressor and just, casually, if you will, or even intentionally say, I'm going to violate that, I'm going to invade and annex. That supposedly was illegal under international law. The second principle, and Woodrow Wilson got a Nobel Peace Prize for putting this forward, is the right to self-determination. The Ukrainian people have a right to self-determination. Russia is saying there's no such thing as the Ukrainian people. This is all part of Greater Russia. Well, Ukrainians beg to differ. No, there is. And the UN should stand for these principles. That is part of the very DNA of these international organizations. Why have them unless you're going to enforce the principles that they're founded on? Worried was an understatement. That's how Ailyn described her feelings after her husband lost his job. She cried out to God, why is this happening? And he gave her an answer that led to financial freedom.
Born and raised in the Philippines, Jem and Ailyn Tan have seen firsthand the work CBN is doing there.
Showing Jesus' love, not just through words or like sermons, but actually like in tangible ways to actually ease their suffering and improve their lives.
So when the couple moved to the U.S. in 2001, they knew CBN was a ministry they wanted to support. In addition to tithing at church, the Tans joined the 700 Club, pledging $40 a month.
Seeing CBN helping out people in need, it inspired Ailyn and myself because it's not just a ministry of building churches and spreading the word, it's also a ministry of helping people out.
The Tans used Ailyn's salary as a nurse to live on, and Jim's salary was set aside for savings. They always made tithing a priority before paying any bills and increased their giving to CBN over the years.
All our resources are from God. We are just stewards of it.
Then in 2016, Jim was laid off from his job. With their older daughter, Pia, starting college in 2 years, the Tans wondered what they should do.
We were really banking on that income for her college expense. So worried was probably an understatement.
During that time, Ailyn says God prompted her to do something unusual with their tithe.
I was doing the budgeting one night and, of course, silently whining to the Lord, like, why is this happening? And the Lord impressed upon my heart, go to 11%. Try to increase 1% every year until I tell you to stop.
It kind of like surprised me though when she said that she was going to increase it. But I trust my wife. She has a good judgment on that.
So the TANs increased their giving by 1%.
There's just blessings that come in, you know, a raise, you know, or I move up a tier in my nursing. So I just feel like it was the Lord that carried us through that.
Jim found temporary work as Ailyn was offered better and better positions. They obeyed God and increased their giving by 1% each year, as well as increasing their CBN club level over the years.
To a normal layman, it would be illogical because your income is smaller. It won't bother you. Actually, you'd just be surprised by the blessing that you get afterward.
After 7 years, the Lord told them they no longer needed to add 1% to their giving. The TANs saw God provide. In fact, their daughter was able to graduate from UCLA without any student debt.
I credit that to God's faithfulness, you know. If you just obey, then He's faithful to just see you through.
Jim was able to take early retirement. As 2,500 Club members, the TANs enjoy seeing the work their gifts are doing around the world, especially in Israel.
We strongly support Israel to be able to channel also the resources that have been given to us back to God and then also to Israel. We're happy with that, super happy with that.
And seeing CBN Israel reach out to the Jewish people is very important to us, and it makes us happy.
By trusting God with their finances over the years, Jim and Ailyn have seen God's blessing over them. Now their younger daughter is headed to college, and the TANs have no concerns about paying for her education.
So unlike the time when Pia left for UCLA, where we're like, okay, where are we going to get the money? And this time the Lord has provided for her tuition already.
They encourage everyone to step out in faith and see how God will provide.
For those that are like hesitant about giving or like worried, I was there. I know how it feels. Just obey and take that leap of faith.
It may not make sense, but you just have to learn to trust the Lord, and you will be blessed.
Let me echo what the TANs just said. You have to learn to trust the Lord. That learning process is not some kind of intellectual exercise. This isn't something where you study the Bible and you say, okay, now I get it. This is something you walk out that you learn by doing. And when you do it, when you obey what He's asked you to do, well, then wonderful things can happen. Here's a promise for you. It's from Jeremiah 33:3. I call it God's phone number. Call to me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. So here the TANs are. They're in economic distress. What do we do? What did they do? They called to God, and He answered them and showed them things to do. And then when they walked it out and they did what He told them to do, well, then wonderful things happen. And it will happen to you if you just follow the same principles. God has all the secrets of the universe. He wants to reveal great and mighty things to you. He wants to show you the way. What is He looking for? He's looking for your obedience. And the first chapter of Isaiah is absolutely true. If you will only obey me and let me help you, then you will have plenty. If you want to start a life of obedience, and part of obedience is tithing, you can join the 700 Club. How can you do that? Just call us, 1-800-700-7000. How do you join? How much does it cost to join? Well, it's $20 a month. That's 65 cents a day. Some of you can give far more than that. So we have 700 Club Gold at $40 a month. 1,000 Club is $1,000 a year. That's $84 a month. We also have 2,500 Club, which is $2,500 a year. That's $209 a month. We have Founder at $5,000 a year. That's $417 a month. Then Chairman Circle, $10,000 or more a year. Now, whatever level you join, we'll send you a copy of this wonderful teaching on the 23rd Psalm. If you join at 700 Club Gold, we'll send you 3 copies of it so you can share it with your family and friends. If you join at 1,000 Club or higher, we'll send you 5 copies so you have plenty to share. And when you listen to this new teaching on the 23rd Psalm, you'll learn the Hebrew meaning behind the words. And you'll discover the promises, protection, and provision available to you. I want to do a meditation on the Psalm of David, Psalm 23.
Gordon Robertson presents The Lord is My Shepherd, a Psalm of David.
Each verse is a guide for us in our life. And it's a beautiful illustration for me of how Jesus leads us. What happens when we fully embrace the Lord is my shepherd?
Get The Lord is My Shepherd, the latest audio teaching from Gordon Robertson. Call now or go to cbn.com.
Broken lips. That was the nickname that children used to taunt a baby born in Cambodia. As soon as her mother laid eyes on the newborn, she feared her child would suffer that kind of cruelty. And her worst fears came true.
Baby Chantria was born with a cleft palate.
After Chantria was born, I cried. I felt so heartbroken. I never thought something like this could happen to us. I was so sad. I love her and worry about her. I want her to go to school with me and my sister.
Chantria's sister was concerned because kids were already starting to make fun of her baby sister.
When I took my baby sister for a walk, the children called her broken lips. I got mad and brought my sister back home.
When he could find work, Chantria's dad worked in construction in Cambodia where they lived. There was no way they could afford to pay for surgery. So Operation Blessing arranged for the family to travel to a city hospital. There, we paid for Chantry to receive free surgery to repair her cleft lip.
Other children came to play with her now. She can eat rice and porridge, and she is now gaining weight.
I am really thankful for what you did.
Thank you for fixing my sister's lips.
You know, in so many countries, something like this, a physical situation that's so evident, it's not just children that are taunting someone that's dealing with this, it's grown-ups. I mean, it's just sometimes in a culture, the way that people have been taught, the way they treat each other, what they think. Being able to repair this child's lip has changed her life, and not just for now, but for her whole life. 700 Club members, that's the kind of difference that you are making in the lives of people whose circumstances are needy, and you walk right into the middle of it and make a difference. We want to say thank you for doing that. Thank you for caring about the needs of others. It's so easy to get busy in our lives, isn't it, and say, well, I'll get to that later, or I can't do that. But you know what? If you do it now, right away, when God speaks to your heart, you will find there's such a sense of satisfaction that you are making a difference, such a sense of answering the call. We want you to do that with us today. You'll be joining thousands of people who are changing the world and doing it all in the name of Jesus, and we invite you to join us. You do it by calling our toll-free number. It's right there on your screen, 1-800-700-7000. You just call and say, I want to join the 700 Club. It's $20 a month. Most of us can afford to do that. And as you've seen in so many stories here, sometimes when you give, when you feel like you can't, it opens the windows of heaven and God begins to pour out a blessing. We want to ask you to join today. And if you can't join the general membership, or maybe you're already a general member, would you consider going to the next level? There you go. It's 700 Club Gold. That's a gift of $40 a month. Or you could join the 1,000 Club. Lots of people do that at $84 a month. Our 2,500 Club members join us at $209 a month. Or become a founder if you can. That's $5,000 a year. It works out to $417 a month. And we have an amazing thank you for you. Gordon has done a teaching on the 23rd Psalm. You know, most of us have either grown up with that or have certainly studied it as adults, and we want you to have this teaching. It's our gift to you when you join. When you have joined at a general membership level, that's what's on your screen right now, $20 a month. We're going to send you a copy. But if you go up to the 700 Club Gold level, we're going to send you 3 copies, or maybe you'd like to join the 1,000 Club, and we'll send you 5. I want to say to you, this comes beautifully wrapped, and it makes a great gift to give to people that you care about in your life, so that you can break open the Word of God in a fresh and a new way to them. So call now. You'll be touching and changing someone else's life, and we think you'll be blessed by our gift to you as well. Gordon?
Johnny woke up to massive flooding, and the water levels kept rising. By the time he evacuated, the water was waist deep. When he came home, he returned to a scene of complete devastation.
Early one morning, many families in eastern Kentucky were startled awake by floodwater overtaking their homes.
I went and looked out the window,
and raised the window, and I could hear the creek running. And I come to the front door and looked out, and it was already up to my steps. And we evacuated. I waded water almost to my waist to get out.
Operation Blessing showed up and quickly began helping Johnny's family and many others prevent mold from setting into their homes.
They have done a lot of work. They worked hard. They have cut trees. They've cut out sheetrock that's been damaged. They've took up flooring. They've took out vanities. They've lifted the commode out.
Johnny has some flood insurance, so with Operation Blessing's help, his family is a few steps closer to being able to return to their home.
If they hadn't showed up, it would have been a lot more load on me, and I appreciate them.
Through God's grace and the faithful support of Operation Blessing partners, the disaster relief team has been able to help many families in eastern Kentucky.
I want to thank Operation Blessing for being here. The Lord's blessed us.
That thank you goes from Kentucky to your home. If you're a member of the 700 Club, you're part of that disaster relief team helping people in Kentucky, helping people right now in Puerto Rico, helping Ukrainian refugees. You're helping people all around the world because you care enough to give. A portion of every gift to the 700 Club goes into the work of Operation Blessing. Another portion goes into the work of CBN International to preach the gospel around the world. You're a part of all of it. You're a part of everything we do when you join. If you'd like to, give us a call and say, yes, I'll join the 700 Club. It's just $20 a month, 65 cents a day. If you're already a member, I encourage you to join at a higher level. You can come in at $40 a month, 700 Club Gold. You can increase to 1,000 Club, which is $1,000 a year. When you do it, make sure you ask for a Pledge Express. That's electronic monthly giving with the bank doing all the work, and we can send monthly teaching CDs or downloads. You can stream them. Your choice, called Power for Life. It's our gift to you when you become a member of Pledge Express. And when you become a member of the 700 Club, we want to send you this CD teaching, The Lord is My Shepherd. It's an in-depth look at Psalm 23. It's a passage of Scripture that we memorized by heart. I memorized it in Sunday school long ago. But in this teaching, you'll discover the full meaning of each verse.
The Lord is my shepherd, a Psalm of David, the latest audio teaching from Gordon Robertson.
What a great picture of the Good Shepherd, that he knows exactly what's going on in our lives. When he's with us, well, then suddenly we understand, I have need of nothing else. You can come to him. He will be the shepherd of your soul. You will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
The Lord is my shepherd, a Psalm of David, available now.
A well-known Democrat says people cannot be considered progressive if they support Israel. The Hill reports Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib, herself a progressive and a Palestinian-American, made that statement Tuesday during her address to an American Muslims for Palestine event. Some progressive Democrats quickly disagreed. Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz called that view anti-Semitic. New York Representative Jared Nadler also disagreed with Tlaib. A landmark number at one of the famous holy sites in the Bible. Jews visited the Temple Mount in Jerusalem more than 50,000 times over the past year, the most since the Roman Empire destroyed the second Jewish temple in 70 AD. That is according to numbers released by an Israeli organization that brings Jews to the Temple Mount. The 50,000 figure represents the number of visits, not the total number of visitors. The group expects the number to keep rising as pilgrims flock to Jerusalem to observe the biblical holy days next month. Want to remind you, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com.
Brooke Jones stole a gun. At first, she wanted to sell it for drug money. Then Brooke came up with a new plan. Use the gun to force the police to shoot her dead.
My life's over, you know, in my mind, who cares? I thought, if I go in here and rob this place, the police will come, they'll shoot me, that'll be it.
Brooke Jones grew up in a busy home with a working mother and stepfather. The oldest of 5 children, Brooke longed for the attention and acceptance she needed. Her grandmother was the only one who gave it to her, but that meant going to her poker games, where Brooke's life would take a turn.
There was some creepy old man on the couch, and I was supposed to be coloring, and he was, you know, just fondling me. I didn't want to tell my grandma what was going on because I didn't want her to send me home.
She was sexually assaulted 2 more times, and still, the now 9-year-old Brooke kept silent.
Those incidents definitely shaped how I saw sex. I viewed it as a way to please other people, or a way to fit in, or for people to accept me.
Making things more confusing, Brooke was enrolled in a Christian school at the time, where she learned about Jesus and the Bible.
I had that childlike faith, and I believed all of the Bible stories that we read. I can recall as a child praying for things and believing that he was listening.
That changed when she started going to public school at the age of 12. She quickly fell in with the wrong crowd, smoking weed, stealing, and having sex. Anything to get attention and be accepted.
I wanted people to care about me. When I became exposed to this new, crazy world, I jumped right in it.
Then at 13, when her parents tried to discipline her, Brooke started running away. The police would bring her back. Then the cycle would repeat.
And that put me in the company of some really dangerous individuals. I'm 13, hanging around 18-year-old men, 20-year-old men, engaging in sexual behavior with them to buy my place to stay, and they're giving me alcohol, and they do other drugs, and so I'm doing other drugs. It was overnight that I was emotionally just numb.
For the next 8 years, Brooke was in and out of her family's home. But when she stole money from her mother, she was kicked out of the house. By the time she was 23, she'd had 4 children and was trying to slow her drug use while raising them. That's when Brooke learned that her youngest sister, Jessica, the only family member she thought loved and accepted her, had heart failure and was going into surgery.
Everybody was praying, and I remember thinking God was going to answer that prayer. You know, he was definitely going to save my sister. But she didn't live.
Brooke slipped into a deep depression. After leaving her kids with family, she fell hard into drinking and doing cocaine.
I just had hit my breaking point. You know, when you're on drugs like that, you're sick of yourself. I didn't want to live. I just didn't have the courage to kill myself, I guess.
Strung out and using an unloaded handgun she'd stolen to sell for drug money, she began robbing stores, hoping the police would corner and shoot her dead. During one of the robberies, a bystander tackled Brooke and held her until the police came. She was convicted of armed robbery and sentenced to 25 years. Now forcefully separated from her children, Brooke began to consider their future.
I wanted to be back with my children. My kids suffered because of my decisions. I definitely wanted to get out and to be available for my kids, to be the stable parent figure that they needed.
Brooke was given a life recovery Bible, and that's when she started reading the stories she'd heard as a little girl.
I was ready to hear God because I was just as far down as I could go. I was reading the Bible. I was feeling peace. I was feeling God, you know, touching my life and touching my heart.
She also began listening to Christian music.
I felt Jesus speak to me through those lyrics. God reached me and was like, I can help you. I can change you. I prayed and said, you know, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give my life to you and let's see what happens.
Brooke started attending a Bible study in prison and continued to pray, grow her faith, and overcome her addictions. Then one day, after serving 11 years,
they told me my sentence had been commuted and I was gonna go home. I was stunned. It was a miracle. You know, it was forgiveness that only God can give.
Brooke received a full pardon from the governor of Kentucky. She immediately reconnected with her children, reconciled with her parents, and is now married to a Christian man. Brooke gives all the credit to God for restoring her life and for giving her the love and acceptance she always longed for.
There was nothing I could do or muster up within myself to make those changes, to change my heart. God was the only way to my new life. I don't have to look for acceptance in anyone or anything. I have found love and acceptance from God. His forgiveness, His pardon is waiting for me every single day.
She's absolutely right. You know, sin will take you down a very slippery slope. And sometimes it starts like it did for Brooke when you're a kid. You know, you just fall in with the wrong crowd, you start doing the wrong things, but every one of those things pushes you a little bit further down that slippery slope until the stuff that's been taught to you as truth in your life doesn't become a part of your life anymore. It just kind of slides away into the deep, and you don't even really think about it. You don't even really think about how any of that impacts your life until it's too late. It's got you. You are stuck. And then when you're stuck, you make even more foolish choices. You know, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, here she was wanting the police to shoot her so she could be over it, but instead, she got arrested and sentenced. And in that place where she could no longer make poor choices, where drugs weren't impacting her in the same way anymore, where she wasn't around people she shouldn't have been around. You know, in the quiet of those alone places, we start thinking about our lives. We start thinking about the choices we've made. You know, God orchestrated all of that. Some people could look at that and say, wow, a 25-year sentence, she's done for. Her kids are done for. It was the beginning of a new beginning. That's really what it was about. God's ways are so different than our ways. He gets us. He understands us. In the midst of all of that, she had time to think about the kind of mom she wanted to be. Think about her kids and how damaging what she was doing was to them. You know, in the Word, God says this, I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Those were His plans for Brooke, and they are His plans for you. The Bible also says, draw near to me, the Lord says, and I will draw near to you. And that's exactly what Brooke did. She came to her senses, kind of like the prodigal son, you know, and said, it's better in my Father's house. I'm out of here. She came to her senses, and her Father was waiting for her, and it's that way with God. I don't know where you've been or what you've done. I don't know how many foolish choices you've made, but you can come home to the Father heart of God right now. And He is waiting with arms outstretched for you. He's been waiting all this time. It is better in your Father's house. Come home to forgiveness, to new beginnings, to a start over, to grace beyond what you understand. The love of God is more than any of us can ever truly comprehend, but it's available to you. Invite Jesus Christ right into the midst of your circumstances. Give Him your life. Ask Him to be the Lord of your life and the Savior of your soul. He'll forgive your sins as far as the east is from the west. And the Bible says He'll remember them no more. I want to share with you a word from Philippians. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. God bless you.